example, they bought a house, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or they bought a car
Mm-hmm.
under their name, and
Yeah.
they're already famous. They are famous, like kilalang kilala
Oo.
talaga sila.
Oo.
So I don't think that they could escape this.
Mm. So yan,
Like,
parang warning na yan sa kanila, ano? Okay.
yeah.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si JR ng Pinoy YouTube Specialist at sa mga nakakaalam po sa ating pong channel, this is a new channel na kung saan we are trying to understand YouTube at yung mga social media influencers, at sa ating episode ngayon, ang pinaka-importante dahil related ito sa YouTube, ang pagbibigay ng tax, ang pagbibigay ng buwis sa ating mga social media influencers, hindi lamang sa YouTube kundi pati na rin sa TikTok, Reddit, Facebook at iba pa. So ang ating magiging guest ngayon ang isang napakahusay para sa akin kasi naging resource speaker na natin to sa ating other channel, yung Usap-Usap University about sa BIR. At tayo, we're so proud and so honored na binigyan ng pagkakataon ng isang tax consultant, tax expert sa UK. Pilipinong-Pilipino yan at unfortunately, hindi na bachelor. Okay? So nung kailan lang ay kinasal na. Tama ba, Sir Daryl? Yes?
Yes,
At
yes,
dahil
yes.
siya ay nasa UK, hindi ko siya tatawaging sir. Okay, Daryl na lang daw, sabi niya. So mga kaibigan, ang ating tax expert from ENY, correct ba?
EY,
Daryl?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, EY. Yeah.
EY. There you go. So Mr. Daryll Buo. Ladies and gentlemen, let's clap our hands. All right, CPA. Okay. So Daryl, kumusta? Anong oras na dyan sa UK ngayon?
It's 9:14 in the evening now. I'm okay. How are
Right.
you?
Oh, great. Salamat. And ngayon, it's 4:15 a.m. Okay, so you gotta do it for the bayan. Okay.
For the
So,
bayan.
Daryl, gusto kong malaman, yung career mo, so if I'm not mistaken, the last time na nag-usap tayo, you're in the Middle East. Tama ba?
Yeah, I was in
So,
Saudi.
Saudi. Tama,
Yeah.
tama. And then, kakalipat mo lang sa London?
Yeah, kakalipat ko lang. I think I'm already here. I've been here 10 months already.
10 months. Mga halos 1 year na rin pala yun, no?
Almost, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yung experience mo sa ibang bansa as an parang OFW kasi talaga to eh. So, gaano nakatagal, Daryl?
I think more than 6 years, 6 to 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
7 years this year, yeah.
Matagal na rin pala
as
talaga.
An OFW.
No?
Yeah, as an OFW.
Mm-hmm. So, alam ko na with the power of social media, you enjoy watching videos, Facebook, YouTube, at iba pang mga social media platform. At alam ko na napanood mo malamang or nabasa mo yung mga updates dito sa Pilipinas na mga about sa tax. At yun yung reason kung bakit kinontak ka namin. Kasi gusto naming malaman, anong masasabi mo as a tax expert at maybe alamin natin ano yung reason kasi maraming misconceptions yung mga tao, no, yung mga regular ng mga citizens natin patungkol nga sa pagtatax ng gobyerno. So, let's try to address one issue, yung one main na kumbaga reklamo ng ating mga kababayan. Na wala na ba talagang ibang pwedeng mapagkukunan yung gobyerno? Bakit nagkakaroon pa ng pagtatax? Kasi ang bait-bait naman ng mga YouTuber na ito, ng mga vlogger, tumutulong lang naman sa kapwa.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, I think this is the best time to clarify those misconceptions. First and foremost, we need to clarify is this a new tax that was imposed? It will be imposed. The answer would be no, because as a basic rule, so government should levy tax for every income. Or for every business, like for an income for income tax, business for VAT or percentage tax. So this is not something new. So BAR just basically is mandated, by its obligation to implement what has been provided under the law. So what they have issued recently, I think it was issued around August 16. So it's an RMC, meaning to say it's a Revenue Memorandum Circular. It's just we can say it's a how do we say this? So implementing regulations per se. So there's implementing regulations already, but it's more of a reinforcing. reinforcing what has already been provided by the law.
So you're saying, Daryl, na hindi ito bago, kumbaga, parang hindi dapat mabigla yung mga tao, parang kumbaga, in my understanding, kasi hindi naman ako tax expert, but you may correct me if I'm wrong. So para siyang naging follow-up on an already existing parang rule about income. Tama ba?
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The rule has already been there. It's just a clarification. So it's mandate for the BIR to clarify what are the things that needs to be taxed. So it's such that na, syempre nagbabago yung buhay, nagbabago din yung business. Papunta na din tayo dun sa social media, right? And this is not something new. This is not a unique case. So let's clarify that. Even in the UK, it has been taxed, these social media influencers here in the UK, in the US. There's already been taxed.
Do you have any idea how much?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how much are they parang taxing for UK influencers perhaps? May idea ka ba? Like rough estimate of the percentage?
It really depends on their income. So Philippines and UK have the same, basis of taxation. They use graduated rates, meaning to say it really depends on the level of income you earned. And like for example, if the income is 10,000, let's say for illustration purposes. So you earn $10,000, okay, and then $10,000 falls in the 20% tax. So you will be taxed at 20%. But if your income is above 10,000, say for example 30,000, then 30,000 would be within the level of another tax rate, which is higher, so 40%. So
tama
this is what we call graduated rates.
Yun ba yung pagkakaintindi ko? Kumbaga sa common, parang term natin, parang bracketing, tama ba? Na ito,
bracketing,
na parang ganitong range, ito yung magiging percentage mo. And then on higher naman dyan, so ito na naman yung maging next na level. So it's the same sa UK at saka sa Pilipinas. Okay.
Yeah.
So ito yung isa sa mga gusto din naming malaman. Ako kasi, as you may know, we've been friends for quite a while, and siguro sana naging mas low-key ako, para hindi ako maging target ng BIR. So kung ako ay isang ordinaryong YouTuber, ako small YouTuber, in total I have, in some, kasi hindi lang naman isa yung channel ko, around siguro mga 35,000 subscribers in total yung reach ko. What should I do? Sige, doon tayo sa dapat nating gawin. Kasi ako, tatakot ako pagkakasuhan ako ng tax evasion ng ating BIR. So what would you suggest that all YouTubers or social media influencers should do, Daryl?
Yeah, I think you need to ask them first. The first question is this your sole income? Ibig sabihin, ito lang ba yung income na ina-earn mo? Nag-iisa. Wala ka bang employment income? Wala ka bang other income? Maybe why I'm asking because you can consolidate all your income, all your earnings in one tax return only. Say for example, if you are employed, right? And then on the weekends you don't do anything, and then gusto mo lang mag YouTube and then you earn. So it's a passive income for you. Then whatever you earn in your YouTube plus the salary that you earn every month, or this will be
yung sa primary
for
na
1
work
year.
mo.
Exactly. Then you need to consolidate that and you file a separate tax return, because if you're if you're just purely compensation income earner, meaning to say you just rely your income from your employer sa sweldo, then you don't need to file a tax return, right? Because somebody else would file your tax return on your behalf, and you will receive a certificate stating that the tax has already been paid to the BIR, and this is BIR form 2316. Now in your case, if you have some other income, say for example the YouTube, right? And then you need to get this 2316 so that you can claim tax. You can claim tax credit. So for example, you earn 20,000 pesos for 1 year from YouTube, no? And then you earn 100,000. So 100,000 is pretty much very low. So let's say 300,000 for 1 year. So you would have 310 or 320,000 for 1 year, no? So you need to calculate that the income tax based on the 320,000. Say for example, for illustration, for simplicity, the tax that you will be going to pay, it's say 40,000 from those 320,000, 40,000 pesos. Now your employer already withheld the tax on your compensation income, your salary, right? So you need to deduct that.
Kinakailangan
say,
i-deduct yun.
Of course. And then because you would be, you don't need to pay that amount, the same amount, right? Because you already somehow paid it when you receive your salary.
Correct. Okay.
So the important thing is you need to have this 2316, and that's the supporting document that you can claim that the tax has already been withheld every month by your employer.
Okay.
And the remaining, if there's a remaining due, then that would be the amount that you will be required to pay.
I think what you said is actually an answer na sa isa sa mga viewer questions kasi natin. So we have a friend vlogger na nagkaroon siya ng tanong sa atin via a private message, at yun nga yung tanong niya. I think it's very much related to what you said. Sabi niya na na-confuse siya. Sabi niya dito in Bisaya, na-confuse lang jud ko, sir ba kung cumulative ba siya sa akong other income? And then sabi niya dito na yung matotal lang akong gi-income sa YouTube o sa work na ako karon, tapos dito sila mo tax. So in Tagalog, yun nga yung tanong niya na cumulative ba daw yan with his other income. So I think that settles it. So sa YouTuber na ating kaibigan, I think nasagot na yun ni Daryll sa atin. Pero ito yung tanong ko, Daryll, no? Like, would you recommend all YouTubers na nag-i-income kahit na konting halaga pa? Let's say for example, less than 100,000 in a year. So kinakailangan talaga nilang mag-register. That would be your suggestion.
Yeah, of course.
Kailangan talaga.
You need to register. Mm-hmm. If your intention is making profit out of it, or if your intention is just make it a hobby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hobby, then you don't need to register because you can argue that it's not an income. Because it's a hobby, unless like for example YouTube, no, and then there's a royalty, you receive something from YouTube, then that would be an income then.
Okay, pero ang ganda ng sinabi mo na if you're receiving it as a royalty from YouTube, kasi diba ang YouTube is owned by Google, so you're saying na if you are not earning royalties, you can argue that the reason for you not registering is kasi para sa hobby lang at wala kang natatanggap. Pero pag you're saying pag may natatanggap ka, kinakailangan talaga dapat magpa-register, tama?
Yeah.
Kasi tumatanggap ka ng in exchange for your service, parang produkto, kasi 'di ba yun yung concept natin sa taxation. Okay,
and also and also there will be a benefit from your end as well. Why? Because this RMC also it's a good thing that this RMC provided some available options, or not available treaty options, meaning to say a tax relief from a YouTube influencer, because YouTube, as you'll say, is owned by Google and it's based in the US, no? And if you go to the last section, the BIR help somehow provided some let's say ways on how the taxpayer or the YouTuber can save taxes, because from US they will deduct some tax which is higher than supposed to be. So if you register, and then if you before registration, like say for example before registration, you could have you just receive $100. Okay, and that is net of the
net
tax
na siya.
that was deducted.
So net, ibig sabihin nun, mula sa gross natin nabawasan na yun, so yung net, yung natitira, yun yung net na tinatawag ni Daryll.
Yes,
okay,
correct.
Please continue.
So yung 100, kapag nag-register ka, pwede yan mag-increase, kasi pwede mong sabihin kay YouTube, who is based in the US, na I'm a resident of the Philippines. And because I'm a resident of the Philippines, and Philippines and US has a tax treaty, then you only need to deduct a portion of, not the, I think it's 20%, right?
I think it's around 20%, kasi naalala ko, Daryll, merong naging parang notice din sa amin yung YouTube partnership program. Yung lahat ng tumatanggap ng pera from YouTube, yun yung members kami ng tinatawag na YouTube Partnership Program, YPP. And in this program, last month, if I'm not mistaken, nakatanggap kami ng notice na kinakailangan mo i-elect na kung aling bansa ka galing, kasi may mga tax treaties depending on, country. So ang Pilipinas merong tax treaty with the US, so we have to click that. So yun yung nangyari sa amin. And so ibig sabihin yan, Daryl, we can claim tax credit for those amounts, tama ba? Pwede bang maliwanagan lang kami ng konti doon sa concept ng tax credit, kung paano na pwedeng ma-reduce pa yung supposedly na tax na tinitingnan namin?
Yes, correct. So say for example, without a treaty, tanggalin natin yung tax treaty. Sabihin natin example, walang treaty si US saka si Philippines. Si US, si YouTube kasi required kasi siya mag-withhold. Ibig sabihin, mag-deduct a portion of the tax that somebody earned. Right? Because it's a royalty. And if US is paying someone who is not in the US, so according to their laws, they are required to withhold some taxes. Say for example, you're supposed to earn 100. Okay? And because of that US tax law, you only need to get say 80, right? Because of the 20%. So you only received 80 instead of 100. Now, because we have a tax treaty, Philippines and US, that 20% under the tax treaty is only 15%. So, pwede mo sabihin kay YouTube now na resident ako ng Philippines, we have a tax treaty. Can you just withhold 15 instead of 20? Then then YouTube can be obliged to do that.
So parang nakatipid ka na ng 5% nun.
Exactly.
No? Okay. So Daryl, salamat talaga sa mga ganitong mga information. Ako personally, as a lay person, hindi ko talaga magigets yan. So salamat Daryl sa pagpapaliwanag. Pero ito yung other ko na tanong patungkol nga dito sa pagtatax sa ating mga social media influencers. So, kinakailangan nila magpa-register and hindi ba pwedeng mag-cheat sila dito, Daryl? Yung concept ng pag-cheat na they will under-declare what they have earned. So baka pwedeng maliwanagan kami dito dahil kasi iniisip ko, kunwari ako, para mas makatipid ako sa babayaran kong tax, sasabihin ko na ganito lang. Or if meron akong product sponsorship, hindi ko sasabihin. Tama? 'Di ba? Kasi merong ibang mga social media influencers, ang laki no, mga sponsorship ng private companies kasi technically para silang kung nung 1990s na artista na endorser, traditional 'yon. Ngayon, eto na social media na yung endorsements eh. So anong masasabi mo dito, Daryl? Please let us know about your opinion about this.
Sure. To explain that, I'll give an example, a simplest example.
Sige.
Say for example, I'm a YouTuber, no? And you are my customer. Okay? And then I provide services to you, no? Like sabihin mo na like pwede ba i-greet ako kasi sikat ka na YouTuber? Pwede ba i-greet yung family ko? Pwede ba i-feature yung family ko? Babayaran kita ng 10,000. Ako din papayag ako. Okay, sige. And since you are legit, having a business, you issue a receipt when right? Sorry. So I issue a receipt.
Okay.
Sorry, because I earn income. Yeah. So I received the 10,000. Okay. I received a 10,000. And since hindi nga ako registered na YouTuber, so walang documentation natin.
Tama.
No?
Nangyayari yan. Ay, nako.
But since you are a business person and this 10,000 might be pasimula ka lang din, di ba? Might be material to you. But you know for a fact that you cannot claim deduction. You cannot claim this as an expense without a supporting document. Right? So, say, for example, this 10,000, sabihin natin, okay, wala akong supporting documents. Sensya na kasi hindi ako register. So, ikaw sabihin mo, sige, ngayon, yung 10,000, i-declare mo yun sa tax return mo. Comes after within 3 years, CBAR pupunta sa'yo. Hindi sa akin, sa'yo. Tatanungin ka, bakit, sino ba tong 10,000 na to? Siyempre, maging honest ka lang, di ba?
Right.
Eto sa ganito. Bakit wala kang kuan? Parang kasi ganito. Yun, doon siya mahuli.
Doon malalaman. And
doon siya mahuli.
You mentioned a very interesting thing. Hindi lamang yung sa details ng ng example mo. gusto ko yung na-mention mo about 3 years. So, ano ba yung paano ba kumbaga saan ba nagsa-start yung moment ng pagbibigay ng punishment kumbaga o pag-start ng investigation? Ano ba yun? By discovery ba yan? So baka pwede mong mapaliwanag sa amin konti, Daryl. Kasi kunwari, we have this popular YouTube channel na hindi ko na lang papangalanan, okay? Pero napakalaking couple pranks channel sila. And recently, okay, so wag niyo nang i-comment din sa baba kung ano yun. Basta alam na natin yun. Nag-delete sila ng YouTube channel nila. At itong channel na to napakalaki. I think around 12 million subscribers yung meron sila. At may mga house tours pa yan. Siyempre, popular yung house tours because of yung hashtag katas ng YouTube. So, paano ba yan, Daryl? You're saying na hindi sila makakatakas sa ating batas. Maybe you could explain a little bit kung nag-i-evade, nag-i-evade sila, ano yung pwedeng gawin ng BIR at saan nagsa-start yun?
Yeah, so ang BIR kasi magre-rely lang dun sa information. So let's say before ko i-tackle muna yung ganun. Tackle muna natin yung kailan yung usual na mga assessments ng BIR.
Yeah, sige.
So if I'm a taxpayer religiously filing my tax returns, the assessment comes in, or the BIR has the right to assess or to examine or to audit your records from the time you filed your returns. Say for example, you filed your returns for the year 2021 this year, and that will be due to be filed next year, April.
Okay.
Then the right to assess is from April 2022 plus 3. So yeah, 22 plus 3 would mean 25. So
yes.
within those 3 years, the BIR has the right to raise an assessment. Now, for those persons na hindi registered, syempre hindi niya alam yan kung low-key ka. Kung low-key ka. So low-key is the key.
Yun yung
pero
yung sekreto.
Pero if famous ka, like what you have said, this
12 million
couple, 12 million, I don't think that's a low-key. And
I got it.
Most likely, they already have records from YouTube or Google, no? In this case. Or maybe, since they're famous, there's a lot of endorsers already.
Okay.
Like they have, maybe they have shared some, they already, like for example, they bought a house, right? Or they bought a car under their name. And they're already famous. They are famous, like kilalang talaga sila. So, I don't think that they could escape this.
So yan, parang warning na yan sa kanila, no? Okay.
Yeah.
Kahit na, so you're saying na...
And
yes, sorry.
maybe it could be also, questioned by the BIR, what's the motive of deleting this account suddenly? Because it might be used against us. It's a prima facie, like, are you evading taxes from me? That's why you're deleting this? So they can use that against them.
So there's no other way. Parang you're saying, Daryl, in the perspective ng ating batas, talagang matitrace ka, no? At ang gusto ko ding sabihin, kasi lahat naman yan nasa analytics naman namin yan. So dahil meron namang partnership yung ating gobyerno at hindi mahirap sa ating gobyerno na kunin yung information sa Google Analytics, talagang matitrace. Tama ba, Daryl? No?
Yeah, that is correct. Now, the challenge now is paano gagawin ni BIR with the limited resources that they have? That's the challenge of the government. Sa kanila. Yeah. Because what we have seen, even the large taxpayers, they still have challenges to collect taxes. Even the medium-sized SMEs. Right. How much more this retail, no? Retail considered yung mga tao.
Tama.
So it's a very challenging because they have limited examiners who will do that. BIR the technology is not that sophisticated, right? They're still doing manual for some.
Kumbaga, that's another story, no? That's another side to it na dapat na kumbaga paigtingin pa ng gobyerno kasi nga I totally agree with you. Medyo challenging talaga ito. At sa dami ng mga YouTubers ngayon na umuusbong, so yun yung isa sa mga challenges ng gobyerno. But on our part,
that's where the risk that's where the risk assessment comes in.
Risk assessment.
Like, is it a low? Is it a medium? Is it a high? It becomes a high if there's already been a bear assessment for a specific social media influencer. But we have yet to see that, right?
I got it.
We have yet to see that.
And in some ways, registering as a social media influencer kahit sa YouTube ba yan or sa Facebook ba yan, it protects the citizen. Yung I think yung nafe-fail na makita ng lahat ng mga yung mga nagrereklamo lang na parang wala na daw ibang source ng revenue yung gobyerno kaya hinahabol yung mga influencer. I think on the other hand, it's a protection sa lahat sa atin, and we're doing our part. It's our obligation to pay taxes to the government. Siguro final questions na lang dito, Daryll. I would like to know, so after na magpa-register, kinakailangan nilang ma-process yan, kinakailangan nilang i-report honestly. Ano yung magiging mga expected punishment, yung mga mangyayaring parusa? So na-mention ko kanina, Daryll, tax evasion. Could you please just tell me a little bit about this? Ano ba yun? Makukulong ba sila? Ano bang matatanggap nila na kaparusahan? Ano yung sistema ng pagpaparusa?
Siyempre, we are a democratic country, so there's a due process
pa naman, oo.
Even in the tax law, there's a lot of due process. Even before you go to the courts, within BAR, you still have the right to be heard. There's a certain period. I forgot how many periods, but it would take much time.
May proseso pa rin naman.
There's a chance that you can explain yourself. Like, why are you doing there sometimes? You still have the chance.
Hindi siya keso na naka-receive ka ng order from the BIR, tulong ka na agad. Hindi naman ganon, no? May pagkakataon pa rin na you can protect yourself naman. And okay, so maybe and
also before going to the courts, because once you go to the courts, that would be the end.
Right.
Because it's our suggestion usually to our clients when I was still in the Philippines is as much as possible you don't go to the courts. As much as possible you communicate with BAR, because you have the right to compromise.
Yes, exactly. May ano ba yun, a compromise agreement, tama ba? No, na pwedeng
pwede kayo mag-usap na yung BAR. Like legit na usap na hindi yung under the table.
Right. Hindi yung under the table. Gusto ko yung pag-emphasize mo lang hindi yung under the table. So any other points, Daryll, na gusto mong ma-share na I might have missed?
Yeah, so going back on how would the BAR would go after those unregistered, no? So we are living in a global landscape wherein countries are sharing information among countries. And it's not something new. There's already been the first world countries are doing it right now. Philippines is catching up.
Sure.
So most likely, example for YouTube and Google based in the US, they would require certain information. Your name is already there. And Philippines BAR can always get the data from the US, or not even from the US, or from other countries. Now the question is, TikTok, right? TikTok is in China.
Oh,
that's the question.
You're right. Tama. Oo.
Yeah, that's the question. Are given this BAR circular? I'm not sure about China and Philippines sharing information data on this matter.
But definitely, pero kumbaga sa political landscape, medyo may kaibahan eh. We know China to be a bit restrictive at most of, a lot of times they're quite restrictive in sharing information from their own servers.
Yeah, exactly. That's where my concern is. Or maybe it's a good opportunity from YouTube to focus on TikTok. Because of being China as a restrictive country, they could not share information. Maybe we do not know. So
that's really a good idea. Good.
Something a social media can ponder on, like okay, I don't need YouTube now, then I can go to TikTok. I'll just focus on TikTok.
Okay, all right, okay. So any other points Daryll, na gusto mong ma-share na I might have missed, something or a message you would like to share sa mga social media influencers natin, kasi we are far-reaching, man. Alam ko na maraming marireach ng video na ito. Both yung mga big-time YouTubers at yung mga small-time YouTubers or yung mga papausbong at yung nag-iisip kung gusto nilang maging YouTuber pa. So anong mensahe mo sa social media community sa Pilipinas? Daryl, what should we do?
I think I understand where they're coming from. I think there's a frustration why they are reacted this way. If I'm also in their shoes, maybe I would react the same. I won't blame them. Maybe because for me it's a bad timing. Like you have said, there's no bad timing in politics.
Politics, yeah.
But in an ordinary person, you know, for us it's a bad timing. Like it's COVID, we don't have, you know, other source of income.
Yeah.
And then but if you come to think of it, like if you're earning 1 million, you know, it's a different situation actually. No, we should not put the same YouTubers on the same level, because some YouTubers are just earning below.
Correct.
Some YouTubers are earning those millions. Maybe those millions should be the one to pay taxes.
Yun.
You should be, you know, should be emphasized. Like they're showing themselves that, you know, even the pandemic, no, ang dami nilang binibili pa rin.
Yeah.
Then mga ganyan, diba? So they should be the one who should be paying taxes. You know, they should be the focus. But nonetheless, you know, if you come to think of it as a citizen, going back to the basics, the government cannot function without taxes, especially now that we need some funds to support our health sector.
Right. And you know, buti nga naalala ko, Daryl. Ito yung final question ko na gustong sabihin. You as a tax expert in a CPA, when is the best time for a big YouTuber to hire the services of a CPA? And what's the benefit of hiring a CPA? Yan.
I think the best time is today, even yesterday. Because there's a lot of experts, you know, even social media influencers could say that they're expert on this something. But tax, pagiging CPA, pinag-aralan yan eh. So it took us some time.
Right.
And there's a lot of CPAs and good tax advisors, better than me in the Philippines, that they could reach out. And the best thing that they could reach out is through PICPA. So it's an organization of
CPAs
Filipino
in the Philippines.
CPAs. Yeah. By reaching out to them, they would have, you know, they could be referred to a right person. Because tax is a very complex subject and it's a very technical subject. Like no ordinary person can just advise as it is, because it requires exposure, it requires experience. You know. Yeah.
Ay nako, agree talaga ako dyan, Daryl. Kaya nga ako minsan, kaya nga we need you in this episode, kasi sa totoo lang, yung mga ordinary citizens like myself, ako very basic lang yung alam ko sa tax law. So salamat talaga, Daryl, sa pagpapaunlak mo sa ating interview dito sa PYTS. At ako, kasi syempre ikaw, you're an expert here, but maybe it's a time for you to plug, you know, willing ka ba na mag-take on ng services or any social media handles you have for people to reach out to you if, you know, they have questions or something?
At this point, I don't have a YouTube. Just like I've mentioned earlier.
Low key.
Low key is the key.
Okay.
And I just wanted to help, you know, without any expected to receive some compensation or
Wow.
So it's okay.
Once in a while siguro visit kayo sa episode na to, and maybe, you know, once in a while Daryl can visit this and, you know, mabasa yung mga comments niyo kung meron kayong mga tanong, and I'm pretty sure, you know, Daryl will be more than happy to help out sa mga comments niyo. So, well, I think that ends our interview, Daryl. Maraming salamat. Konting palapak naman dyan sa ating mga background noise. Yes, okay. Maraming salamat, Daryl. And salamat talaga sa opportunity. So, I'll see you next time. Okay? Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Okay. All right. And, okay.